Hey, welcome back to Well, That's Interesting. The, oh God, don't tell me they're into crafting now edition. Today is episode 282. These tropical spiders build giant doppelgängers as decoys, and these spiders fish for prey while using fireflies as bait. My friends, if you're a long-time listener of this show, then I would have to say that you and I have been on quite a journey when it comes to arachnids. We are fast approaching our 6-year anniversary, and in that time, we have lived through well over a dozen episodes, highlighting wild discoveries into just how intelligent, peculiar, and even sociable they actually are. In fact, my personal emotional journey regarding spiders has evolved from absolutely no thank you very much, to, okay, I could see why people think they're cool. For example, way the fuck back in episode 226, we learned of Rafael Rios Moura of the Federal University of Uberlândia in Brazil and his team, who after doing a little digging within the dirt of a eucalyptus plantation looking for ants, witnessed a first regarding a spider. Males of the species Manogia poricea build a dome-like web above a clutch of their fertilized eggs, and here they sit and dote on their future children, protecting them from predators, and even casting off rain droplets to keep them dry. During episode 239, we moved on from Father of the Year to Siblings of the Year, where we learned of Angelia labyrinthicus, a species where up to 360 newborns share close quarters for months, and they actually get along. And for spiders, that means no cannibalism of relatives, even when food is scarce. It's only until siblings die a natural death does the cannibalism happen, which is actually very nice of them. Not so nice was episode 249, when we spoke about the multiple times researchers gave drugs to spiders just to see what would happen. That was the title of the episode, and to no one's surprise, when LSD was administered, the drug was so disruptive, some creatures abandoned building webs altogether because, honestly, how does one cope seeing 8 legs on LSD? Several other drugs, such as amphetamine, mescaline, strychnine, and caffeine, were also literally fed to these creatures, and you need to hear this story in its entirety if you haven't. That was episode 249. Then, just one episode later, in 250, we were shocked to learn how frequently a behavioral and migration method called ballooning occurs. Ballooning, yeah. It happens so often, and so much so, that citizens of entire towns can walk outside their door and feel as though they're being invaded from above. And spoiler, they are. And finally, if you thought your backyard being covered in cobwebs is too overwhelming, then you might want to brace yourself for episode 264, where under the Balkans, researchers found a single web whose size, I shit you not, is comparable in square feet to a single-family ranch-style house or a multi-bedroom apartment, including 2 to 3 bedrooms. What I mean to say is that this web is over 1,100 square feet, making it the world's largest known spider web so far. And the 2 species that built it and occupying it are also living side by side in harmony. Well, today is once again one hell of a doozy, because we will soon learn that yes, spiders are also damn creative. In the first half of the show, for decades, in 2 completely different parts of the world, the same rumor. Orb weavers of the genus Cyclosa build giant arachnid-like decoys in their webs. Yeah, you heard me. Using silk, plant debris, and even disembodied parts of long-dead prey, they stitch together this multimedia to form the shape of a larger spider. We will meet the 2 artists, both of whom are a mere 1/10 of an inch in size, and we will behold their Goliaths sitting dead center in their webs. We will meet the international team who heard anecdotal reports and viewed all the viral media and said, "Girl, that can't be true, can it?" My God, yes. We will learn that a multitude of spiders, air quote, decorate their webs, and we will weave through the possible reasons as to why. But we will join this international team in the tropical forests of the Philippines and the Peruvian Amazon to witness a first. Are these scarecrows? Are these incubators? For the answers, we will actually hear from one of the crew members who joined these entomologists, and I highly suggest you fire up the tube of you to watch along. His delight in poking these decoys like literally poking them, is something to behold. Then after the break, we're moving on from arts and crafts to crafty behavior. As reported by Hannah Osborne of Live Science, certain nocturnal spiders have been filmed capturing fireflies and keeping them in their webs alive to attract more prey, even intermittently checking on them over the course of an hour. Yeah, you heard me right again. Researchers believe these spiders are using fireflies as a tool, specifically as bait, to increase hunting success. We will meet these spectacular spiders. We will meet their manipulated prey. We will meet the teams from Tunghai University and Haozong Agricultural University who set up a series of field experiments that show that certain spiders are using firefly sexual cues to their advantage. And yes, we will burst through those experiments as well. Are you not already amazed? Well, buckle up. In the meantime, hi, I'm Jill Chacha, and if this is your first time listening, welcome to the flock, my dazzling business goose. To begin, I'm going to ask you to channel your inner Michelangelo, to call upon your inner Martha Stewart, and to compartmentalize your inner Marie Kondo, because you and I are about to stumble upon a revolutionary new form of stabilamenta, which would require all three of these personalities. And before we stumble into it, you're probably wondering what in the holy hell it is first, especially since we're talking about spiders today. Well, your hesitation is apt because, one, stabilamenta is a portion of some spider webs, and no one wants to walk blindly into those. And two, if you did, you'd be accidentally destroying a spider's hard work, which just so happens to look, dare I say, artistic. Long twirly story short, as reported by Smithsonian Magazine, stabilamenta are extremely conspicuous, often zigzagged, crossed, or circular-shaped white silk structures woven by some orb-web spiders into their webs. That's very difficult to say. For example, think of a classic spider web. But there in the center are several lines made of the letter Z, repeating so often that the lines are thicker than any other part of the web. If you drop whatever obsession you're holding right now and pick up your phone to tap on today's post over at the old socials, you will see two examples. This Z-type zigzagging and another web with a series of circles that looks a heck of a lot like a bullseye. So, why do they do it? Why, in addition to a meticulously crafted web, would you add a number of shapes? Well, entomologists have a few theories. According to the aptly named site, Ask an Entomologist, on one hand, some structures and their placements may actually help in stabilizing the web. But on the other, they may actually help a spider survive, despite how conspicuous they look to us. Stabilamenta reflects UV light, which is visible to many insects and birds, making the web more noticeable to avoid mid-air collisions and damage. And the more eccentric the pattern, the more it may confuse predators, maybe even creating the illusion that a much bigger bug calls this place home. In fact, many of the orb-weaving spiders who throw in stabilamenta sit in the center of the pattern as though they're putting on an oversized suit. And please, if you will, put a pin in this, we will get back to it. In the meantime, what I mean to say is that these structures are well known, that they are rarely created with anything more substantial than silk, and the shapes are straightforward and simple. Well, rarely. Since the beginning of entomology itself, it's been rumored orb weavers of the genus Cyclosa take stabilamenta to a whole new Renaissance-era level. Eyewitnesses, from indigenous peoples to tour guides shepherding tourists through tropical rainforests, say that on occasion they've spotted webs where at their center, or just below, a fake spider can be found. And it's not only made of silk. We're talking it's made of plant debris and even leftover body parts from a real spider's meal, like legs and wings. My two-legged friends, the stories and even the photos taken were too wild to be true, that a spider could build another spider-like sculpture. Could you imagine being a well-respected entomologist nerd looking into these cases only to be duped by a local crafting hooligan playing pranks? I mean, who would risk it? As such, no web or structure has ever been scientifically recorded until now. And honestly, it is no surprise that researchers from the following places stepped up to the challenge and the danger. Enter lead study author George Olah, a conservation geneticist at the Australian National University, study co-author Lawrence Reeves, an assistant professor at the University of Florida's Medical Entomology Laboratory, and their colleagues. So yes, Australia and Florida were like, I think our reputations were built for this kind of stuff. Together, they joined forces and made a plan. According to their 2025 study, fittingly called Orb Weavers Build Stabilementa That Resemble Larger Spiders, their goal was to, 1, present the first ever detailed field observations of Stabilementa by a pair of geographically isolated Cyclosa species, 2, provide the first ever comprehensive step-by-step construction of these decorations and the sequence of the web building process, and 3, come up with a few theories as to why they would build large doppelgangers, if the rumors are true. And in fact, if it's true, to avoid the idea that Cyclosa spiders are simply copying one another, the team overachieved by selecting 2 spiders in completely different areas of the world, Cyclosa inca and Cyclosa longicauda, who could be found within the Tambopata National Reserve in the Peruvian rainforest, and the tropics of Negros Occidental on the island of Negros. And for my fellow geographically challenged Americans who are oh so stoked that we're tracking not 1, but 2 spiders under sweltering conditions and are so curious where these places are exactly, don't worry, I've got you. Please everyone imagine South America. Thank you. Point to the middle of the West Coast and move your finger inland just a smidge. Here we are in southeast Peru, specifically the newly christened Tambopata National Reserve, or the TRC for short. It was established back in the Year of Hope, 2000. Now, according to Ye Olde Wiki, the reserve protects a section of rainforest that alone encompasses over 1,700 types of plants and nearly as many species of animals, including your classics like the jaguar, puma, ocelot, and blue and yellow macaws. And in just a few minutes, Cyclosa inca and longicauda are about to be added to that list of celebrities. In the meantime, clutch your passport and prepare yourself for 36 hours of flights, because we are now heading to the Philippines, an archipelago of a little over 7,000 islands located a scant 1,200 miles southeast of China. The island we're face-planting into is Negros, dead center among this smattering of oases. To me, Negros is similar in shape to New Jersey, and if you cut it in half diagonally, you have the province of Negros Occidental that's legendary for 2 things. 1, it's known as the Sugar Bowl of the Philippines, as it produces over half of the nation's sugar. And 2, its landscape runs the gamut, from plains to tropical forests to volcanic mountains, including Mount Canlaon. And thus we have Mount Canlaon National Park. Although they are on opposite sides of the planet, both of these spiders are about 1/10 of an inch in size and camouflaged by black and brown coloring. And as we're about to see, this genus has a lot more in common than their looks. According to the team's study, field observations were made on these species in Peru in 2012, 2014, and 2022, and in the Philippines in 2012. Now, finding something as mini as C. inca in a goddamn rainforest can understandably be daunting, a literal needle in a haystack situation, but the team hit pay dirt, or spider dirt, in May of 2014 at the beginning of the region's annual dry season. They racked in 48 observations on individual Cyclosa spiders in the Tambopata National Reserve. 48! I'm overexcited. Anyway, photographs were taken with a Canon 70 digital camera, and measurements were taken by hand, which means the researchers had to get up close and personal to the web and the creature and what they found. And please, I need you to put a pin in this. We will get back to it during the special video portion of our show. Something wild happened when the team approached. Okay, now let's talk about the Philippines, where in 2012, the team had to climb over 2,000 feet up a goddamn mountain to find our little arachnids. Throughout the month of March, they found 6 spiders, snapping and measuring as they went along. So what did they find after 10 years of study? Drumroll, please. Thank you in the back. From the study, quote, both the Peruvian and the Philippine species were observed in orb webs containing stabulamenta made of prey carcasses and plant debris. In both locations, the stabulamenta contained a central mass of debris at the hub or center of the web, with a number of linear projections radiating outwards from the central mass. At the Philippine site, a single individual was initially observed in a web. The web was situated approximately a meter from the ground in a coffee tree immediately adjacent to a trail. The stabulamenta of the first individual observed had 8 radial projections. Altogether, 6 individuals were observed with similar stabulamenta, presumably the same species. Among them, a number of radial projections varied from 5 to 8. The central mass at the hub of the web was constructed as a shallow envelope or pocket, and all individual spiders were observed resting within. In Peru, we observed cyclosis spiders at the TRC with stabulamenta consisting of a central mass at the hub of the web with radial projections. The first stabulamentum seen was initially mistaken as a spider killed by a fungus and was documented in September of 2012. Upon further inspection, 3 individuals, presumably of the same species, were found at this site occupying similar webs with spider-like stabulamenta, all 1 to 2 meters from the ground and located within about 2 meters of each other. Between 2013 and 2024, it is estimated that over 250 individuals have been seen by eco-guides and naturalists at the TRC exhibiting similar stabulamenta, end quote. Holy shit and goddamn. My overwhelmed business goose. A lot happened in that summary, and you are right to be amazed. In sum, yes, these spiders build larger versions of themselves, even down to the correct number of legs. They are so accurate that in one instance, the researchers first confused the bodies for spiders that had been covered in fungus, a la The Last of Us. But nay, the decoy was made from surrounding plants and past dinner parts. If you drop whatever dinner parts you're holding right now and pick up your phone to tap on today's post, you will see what the team saw in photographs labeled A through F. I'll give you a second. Yeah, I will give you another second to pick your jaw off the floor. Y'all, these stabulamenta look like papier-mâché spiders. If you take a peek at photo B, you'll see a red circle at the tip of one of those makeshift legs. That's the real, actual spider, just curled up and hidden within this scarecrow. But I'm getting ahead of myself and giving away a possible explanation for these creations, which, as reported in the study, were 3.3 times that of the spider's body length. 3.3 times. So I'm 5'3", so that's like me building a 15-foot Jill Cha-Cha, which also just happens to be kind of scary. Anyway, since the team's work at these locations, doppelganger stabulamenta have been witnessed over 250 times by folks including eco-guides. Which brings us to the video portion of our beloved episode. My friends, it is an honor to ask you to fire up the tube of you and search Spider Art or Survival, The Mystery of Cyclosis Fake Spiders, video abstract, and a 4-minute video from Wildlife Messengers will pop up. If you can't watch along, I will have screenshots of Juan Carlos, a local tourist guide in Peru's TRC. Back during the team's investigations, Juan was their guide aiding them through the forests, and he saw firsthand these spiders, how they make their decoys, and how the spiders react when humans approach. Please lean in and have a listen. The video touches upon these topics, and Juan goes into the possible reasons as to why they build these stabulamenta to begin with. And afterwards, we shall expand. So here we go. Spider Art or Survival, The Mystery of Cyclosis Fake Spiders.
Hello, my name is Juan Carlos. I am from the Puerto Maldonado area. My specialty is in tourism, and more specifically, I am a nature interpreter guide. We are inside the Tambopata National Reserve. I was privileged to be in this place a few years ago with a group of entomologists, and with their help, we discovered a species of Cyclosa spider which inhabits this part of the reserve. The Cyclosa longicauda is such a special species of spider that in spite of its tiny size, it has a great strength to build almost the same characteristics of its body shape and blends into the center of the model. How it scares away predators? When they approach, it makes the web vibrate like a giant spider, and so it chases the predators away. During the monitoring, the night walks, we found two species of Cyclosa. The most common was the Cyclosa inca that appears as a line of debris, and the spider sits within the line. We stayed here for 3 weeks, making an important effort to monitor these species, because earlier we did not have an exact definition of their behavior. But thanks to a team of scientists in the Tambopata area, we now have much more information about this special creature. Wow, finally! This is the Cyclosa longicauda, the one we are looking for. It's so tiny. Look at the movement. I'm going to try to touch it, and it will react in the middle. What it does is trying to hide by building a model from parts of little legs and limbs of its prey to be able to defend its web. Because when predators approach, it vibrates the web, making the illusion of a large living spider inside the web. Within this area of Tambopata, there is much more to discover. We now focus on this spider and will provide more information about it. First, they are not nocturnal. Amazing, isn't it? During the night, they can make the web. The next day, if necessary, they can reuse or actually rebuild their web. Amazing how small they are, but still able to reconstruct the large size of their web. And then, if we look very closely, or if we had a microscope inside their model that look like limbs, there are pieces of tiny exoskeletons of insect prey, which they also recycle, with pieces of the leaf litter to be able to camouflage among them. It's incredible. In addition, when they decide to move from one place to another, they also transport everything they have built through a silk line so fine but so strong that it supports all the weight they are going to carry of their model to be able to reconstruct it in another place. This species is amazing. We are a bit indecisive and not so sure whether the model serves as a defense system or as a place where they will lay their eggs inside to be able to later transport them by means of a small line to move from one place to another if necessary. This species taught us a lot. The Cyclosa is small, but not insignificant. That is, each species within this area of the reserve plays an important role, which we must care and protect. If we don't know something, we need to study them via observation to gain information. And not just here inside this reserve. Within the Tambopata National Reserve, there is a huge diversity which we need to continue studying, conserving, and protecting.
Well, holy shit and goddamn again, my overwhelmed business goose. A lot happened in that summary, and you are right to be amazed. Turns out, in 2022, Juan and the gang encountered 20 Cyclosa spiders during the night. When they approached with flashlights to make observations, the spiders started to shake their abdomens against the stabilimentum, making a vibration effect of the model. When you pair this with 1, the extraordinary sight of Cyclosa packing their precious eggs within the decoy to keep them safe as they relocated, and 2, the time that the decoy was constructed, these are signs that the stabilamenta might be used as a survival technique. According to the study, after sunset, between the hours of 18 and 2200 local time, or 6 to 10 p.m., the spiders collected debris from the spiral threads of their webs to the radials, or projections. Later, around 2 in the morning, the spiders continued to build their web by arranging the debris over the main radials resembling legs. And get this cute shit, quote, "Noticeably, as the spiders collected debris, they would frequently reject some of the material, cutting it out of the web and flicking it away with one leg. On observation, it seemed to be the larger pieces of debris that were rejected, but no measurements were made. This reject and flick behavior was also seen when the spiders were caught in the rain. They would collect small beads of water from their bodies and flick them away with one of their front legs." End quote. Y'all, these artists are picky. And honestly, they work pretty fast. After sewing their ingredients together with silk, it took them about 90 minutes to build a complete stabilamentum, which is just in time for sunrise, when hummingbirds and damselflies become active and are on the hunt for itty-bitty snacks like our spiders here. So, in sum, as co-author Dr. Lawrence Reeves from the University of Florida said in a statement to phys.org, quote, "This behavior is not just a quirky biological observation. It illustrates a fundamental evolutionary trade-off in the spider world. Unlike many orb weavers that build a physical retreat to hide, these Cyclosa species appear to invest their time and resources into building an expendable visual defense instead." End quote. Yeah, a kick-ass body double. What will they think of next? Speaking of which, after the break, we're leaving South America and the Philippines for China and doppelgangers for fishing bait. But we're sticking with orb-weaving spiders. It'll be my honor to introduce you to 2 new friends who can put Kevin Van Dam to shame. And if you don't know who that is, neither did I until I Googled most award-winning fisherman, and Kevin Van Dam came up. Kevin is widely considered the most winning professional bass fisherman, accumulating over $7 million in career earnings, 25 bass wins, and 4 Bassmaster Classic titles. Well, Kevin, I tip my fisherman cap to you, but as we're about to learn, some spiders can manipulate entangled fireflies into helping them catch more fireflies. This is a doozy. Stay tuned.
Study and play come together on a Windows 11 PC. And for a limited time, college students get the best of both worlds. Get the Unreal College Deal. Everything you need to study and play with select Windows 11 PCs. Eligible students get a year of Microsoft 365 Premium and a year of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with a custom color Xbox wireless controller. Learn more at windows.com/student offer. While supplies last. Ends June 30th. Terms at aka.ms/collegepc.
Choice Hotels get you more of what you value. Here's a little tune to help you remember. Same drive, different day. Don't you wish you were getting away? Pack your bags and come on through. Texas, Ohio, Alaska, we're up there too. Comfort Inn, it's calling your name. Save on the stay. Oh, and free waffles are yours to claim. Well, I hope you like my little song. Book direct at choicehotels.com.
And we're back. We are so back. And my friends, it's a good thing we were in the Philippines in our last segment, because now all we need to do is hop on a plane for a short ride to Haozong Agricultural University in Hubei. And for my jet-lagged, geographically challenged Americans who are needing a bit of a break and are wondering where in the hell this is now, trust me, what we are about to uncover is so damn exciting, you'll get a second wind. So please, imagine China. Thank you. Point to the middle of the East Coast, and there is Shanghai. Move your finger inland about 2 inches, and here is the landlocked province of Hubei. Now, don't let that landlocked thing fool you. Hubei contains an overabundance of mountains, lakes, and natural wonders, so much so that here at its center, just off the shores of the world-famous Yangtze River, is Haozong Agricultural University. In the much simpler time of 2004, budding PhD student and researcher Jinhua Fu was being equally pure as fuck looking for fireflies in nearby fields. Specifically the firefly Abscondita terminalis, who have quite the flirty way about them. Males flash from 2 abdominal lanterns, while females use 1. And they use these patterns to find and attract one another, flashing their goods every 1 to 2 seconds. But on this day, Fu noticed something rather the opposite of pure. As reported by Gennaro Toma of National Geographic, only male fireflies were caught in spider webs. Even stranger, some trapped males eventually faded into female-like flashing signals. It was then Fu had a light bulb moment of his own. Did the spiders have something to do with this phenomenon? If so, that would make one hell of a PhD doctorate, but he couldn't perform a study on his own. He'd need to assemble an A-team hot for fireflies and one even hotter for spiders. Luckily, Haozong University is composed of 18 different colleges, each more nerdy than the last. So he didn't have to go very far to find passionate folks who knew additional passionate entomologists from Southeast Asia. In an interview with Humberto Basilio of Science magazine, quote, "The first time Fu told me, I couldn't believe it," said Dai-Quinn Lee, a biologist at the National University of Singapore and co-author of the study we're flirting with right now. Continuing the quote, "Driven by curiosity, we embarked on a field experiment in Hubei province, analyzing 161 spider webs in the field with our team and dividing them into 4 groups." End quote. Well then, my sticky business goose, let us go now to the nearby village of Wuhan, where Fu and the gang chose the species of spider Araneus ventricosus, a tiny gray common orb weaver who assembles a new web each evening, which also happens to be the time when fireflies become frisky. In what I can only imagine as being the goddamn time of their lives, the team frolicked through farmland dotted with paddy fields and ponds, capturing male fireflies with nets. Afterwards, though, shit got serious and the experiment began. As reported in Science magazine, quote, "For the first group, they placed a male firefly on a web where A. ventricosus was present. For the second, they placed a firefly on a web with no spider. In the third, they placed a firefly in a web with a spider, but covered its lantern with black ink to block its light. And in the fourth, neither fireflies nor spiders were present." End quote. So, after all the bugs were caught, plucked, and placed, what did the researchers discover? Drumroll, please. Thank you in the back. Boy howdy, a lot. Let's start with the fireflies who were erased of their light, those who were covered in black ink. To no one's surprise, in those webs with A. ventricosus, they became dinner immediately. However, when we step back and look at the webs with a flashing firefly guarded by a spider, girl, what we see is a clear strategy on behalf of that spider. According to the team's aptly titled study, Spiders Manipulate and Exploit Bioluminescent Signals of Fireflies, male insects whose lanterns were still visible were bit in the thorax or chest area and wound in silk up to their glowing tips, signifying the males were still alive. Remarkably, spiders repeated this process with other males that fell into the trap after the first male was captured. When the night was over and the team analyzed the light patterns of those fireflies trapped by A. ventricosus, Fu and the gang confirmed their suspicions. As the hours passed, males were only using one of their lanterns, mimicking the patterns of the females. So yes, the males were now using the siren song of the females to lure other males to their own deaths. And if you drop your own siren song and pick up your phone to tap on today's post, you'll see A. ventricosus dead center on its web. However, under this spider you will see a green glow. That is a baited firefly. And if you look towards the outer edge of the web, you'll see 2 newly captured male victims. Now, I think I know what you're thinking. I think you're thinking, shit, that's crazy. And wait a minute, you said the spider bit the firefly. Did they regulate how much venom they use to keep these bugs alive? If so, that's even crazier behavior. If you thought that, I am so glad you asked. You are not alone. As reported by Humberto Basilio, Fu and the gang believe the spider venom might be blocking oxygen from reaching the firefly organs that produce the light. Or it could be affecting neurotransmitter action in the insects, leading to changes in their flashing. If either is the case, or neither is the case, a new experiment is needed to find out. Perhaps one where male fireflies kept in a lab are injected with spider venom, and researchers do a deep dive into how it affects their behavior. This has yet to be done. In the meantime, entomologists at Tsinghua University had a completely different question. Do spiders using fireflies actually catch more flies than ones without? Now, if you said to yourself, well, duh, probably, once again, you are not alone. In a separate August 2025 study titled Prey Bioluminescence-Mediated Visual Luring in a Sit-and-Wait Predator, this new team had a hypothesis. Quote, "We believe that such a unique prey handling strategy serves to enhance P. clavis's foraging productivity by exploiting the prey's own signal as a deceptive lure. To test this hypothesis, we performed a field manipulative study using light-emitting doodads. Oh no, diodes. Or LEDs. Resembling the bioluminescent signal of D. lamperoides, and evaluated the responses of fireflies and other prey using infrared video cameras," end quote. Well, let's get into it, my illuminated business goose. So please, join me now, will you, in the middle of the west coast of Taiwan. Here, lead author Iman So, Ho-Yin Yip, Sean J. Blamires, and Chen Pan Lau of Tsinghua University had what I can only assume was the time of their goddamn lives, attaching LED lights resembling fireflies to spiderwebs, specifically the firefly Diaphanes lamperoides, onto the sheet-like webs of, oh boy, Citrus clavis, nailed it, who build their webs close to the ground in near darkness, waiting for bugs to bumble into them. As reported by Hannah Osborne of Live Science, while performing previous field research, the team had noticed that P. clavis had accumulated a number of these fireflies and thought they too must be using them as a visual lure. For the experiment, the team placed LED lights onto some P. clavis webs and left others bare, and each web was recorded by night vision cameras. So, what the fuck did the team see when the time passed? Drumroll, please. Thank you again in the back. I'm going to need you to sit down for this one because the numbers may take you aback. According to the study, published Thursday, August 28th, in the Journal of Animal Ecology, the LED webs attracted 3 times more prey than the empty webs. When looking at the number of fireflies caught, the LED webs snared 10 times more than the non-LED webs. Yes, my hungry business goose, not only did the team find that male D. lamperoides to comprise the bulk of the prey obtained, but their flashing brought in additional prey, like moths, who were eaten immediately. Which, I bet, leaves you thinking, did these spiders do the same thing as A. ventricosus and leave the fireflies literally hanging as bait? Yes, they did. Quote, "The fireflies were left up to an hour before being consumed, which is about the same amount of time that a female firefly emits a glow in a fixed location." End quote, the authors wrote in the study. Are you not impressed? And maybe a little terrified at how smart that is? Yeah, me too. And thank you for listening, rating, subscribing, telling your friends that spiders build giant versions of themselves. Tell your friends that. Text it to them right before they go to sleep. Yeah, and an uncomfortable thanks to the folks over at Airwave Media, the podcast network to which WTI belongs. If you love this show, and you do, you'll love the other podcasts in this family. And please, stay interesting.